Yeah. I also go.
Welcome. Welcome, dear brothers and sisters. start the main course food, we usually have a starter. Same way, let us drink the wine, that is as a starter before we listen to the main course today, let us have the wine together. Let us take and we'll drink the wine together. Verify before eating anything. Verify before eating anything. Don't just blindly. Food plays a vital role in our life. Food holds a profound significance in human culture, serving as a more than mere substance for the body. It is an unevident fact that food is a fundamental requirement for human life. Unfortunately, we often exploit food to deceive and mislead others. Jesus' teaching on hospitality, generosity, and care for the hungry underscores the moral imperative of sharing food with those in need, embodying the value of love and solidarity. In Genesis 27, verses 1 to 29, food is used as a metaphorical weapon in the hands of Rebekah and Jacob to execute their destructive plan against Isaac and Esau. Food functions as a weapon in this pericope. The chapter recounts the story of how Jacob, with the help of his mother Rebekah, deceives his aging father Isaac into giving him the blessing intended for elder brother Esau. In this pericope, the blessing that Isaac intends to give to Esau is closely related to a meal. The text illustrates how something as seemingly harmless as a meal can be wielded as a weapon in the hands of those intended on fulfilling their agendas, highlighting the complexities of human relationship and the consequences of deceit with the biblical narratives. This means holds immense significance as it is linked to the patriarchal blessing, which is believed to carry the divine favor and inheritance life. Let's discuss how food changed the entire scenario. How was planned by Isaac through this selected biblical portion. Appetite on food and allurement for deception. Appetite on food and allurement for deception. Appetite means a strong desire for food, and it is common for every human, but this appetite creates a space for others to betray us. Here, Isaac orders his son Esau to go to the field and hunt game and cook him a sovereign meal as he likes. Isaac adds to this that he will bless him with accordance to the meal Esau brings. The Hebrew word ba'ur, which means in order to that, clearly gives us a notion that the blessing is conditioned to the meal that is ordered. He insists his son Esau to cook the food in a method which he loves. The savory food has been sussed in the text, which means the food cooked in salty or spicy taste and not sweet. Despite having plenty of domestic flocks, Isaac had a likeness in the wild food, that is outside food. In this sense, we can consider Isaac as an appetite. Even we can call the so-called flea, because the text clearly explains that this episode happens secretly according to the practice of the culture of the ancient West Asia. It is evident that handing over the blessing to the children happens in a manner that all the heads of the family come together, assembled with their children, and the father hands over the major blessing to the elder son of the family, and thus he shares to the other children. This is evident in the Genesis 49. Since this pericope deal happens secretly, Isaac might have called the Esau and blessed him immediately and fulfilled his wish. But his appetite makes him order to a wild savory meal, which leads to counter conspiracy. In the verse 4, the repetition of the emphasis of the word me, to me, and I reflects Isaac's appetite for the wild food. The end of the chapter 25 reveals that Isaac loved Esau for the very reason his son's ability to bring him the meat he liked. That is, the Hebrew text says Isaac loved Esau because he ate of his game. This clearly states that Isaac's strong appetite for wild meat. Isaac wanted to bless Esau before he died. However, before doing so, he wished to have a savory meal. Thus, He instructed his son Esau to bring him some wild meat which he would enjoy before giving the blessing. This shows that Isaac food was more important rather than giving the blessing. Therefore, Isaac's appetite for the tasty outside food invites Rebekah to have a bold and cunning decision to deceive his husband who has lost his vision. In contemporary times, our appetite for food from the outside often causes us to mislead. We tend to prioritize taste over nutrition, and this also allows food companies to deceive us with their products, take advantage of our addiction to certain flavors, using them as a way to manipulate us into consuming unhealthy foods. According to the National Institute of Health, processed food that we eat today, it contains monosodium glutamate, that is MSG, which gives a special aroma and flavor to the food. This taste sensation is also called savory. Eating excess amount of MSG has a side effects such as obesity, metabolic disorders, neurotoxic effects, and so on. The appetite of us paves way for the corporates to deceive us to the food and makes us diseased. Presentation on food, a route for deception. Presentation of food, a route for deception. Food is closely connected to trust. We tend to trust the quality of food without verifying it. Unlike other products which we double check before making a purchase, that is because we have faith and trust in the food that we eventually become blind with. This is what happened before the sermon started. Isaac trusted his family regarding food. But Jacob and Rebekah schemed and manipulated the meal's significance to execute their plan. Knowing that Isaac's blessing of Esau is tied to a meal, Rebekah devises a plan to deceive Isaac into a blessing instead. Rebekah prepares a meal that mimics Isaac's favorite food, and thus Jacob in Esau's clothing to trick Isaac into believing that Jacob is Esau. Here the text says Isaac ordered his son to cook food from the meat that is being hunted. That means wild meat. She orders to Jacob to bring 2 kids from the domestic flock and plan to cook in a way Isaac likes that imitates the taste of the wild meat. Esau's specialty. The meat from the flock is presented as a wild meat. Deception started from here. The use of food as a tool for the deception underscores the gravity of the situation and emphasizes the moral and ethical implication of the deceit. She not only cooks the food but also presents a food in a well-planned manner so that Isaac will not identify the deception that is being staged. Presentation is more important for any deceit. Jacob participates in the deception by putting the skin of the kids in his hand and around his neck, and also wearing Esau's garments to distinguish himself as the elder brother. The culmination of the deception occurs when Jacob brings the prepared meal to Isaac and receives the patriarchal blessing meant for Esau. The text conveys us that Isaac has lost his vision due to the age. Now he uses the senses to live his life. The sensory skills that are naturally developed to the people who lack of vision, that is, hearing, touching and smelling, and these senses serves as an eye for them. Here Isaac, who has lost his vision, also develops these sensory skills to identify the persons and the things. Here in this drama, Isaac uses these 3 elements to confirm the son Esau. He touches and feels Jacob's hand, who is dressed as Esau. He smells his garments while Jacob kisses him, and he differentiates the voice of his sons. These sensory techniques served as an eye for him, but the presentation cheated him. The presentation ceremony plotted by Rebekah successfully blinded Isaac and made him fall to the trap and bless Jacob instead of Esau. Rebekah secured Jacob's blessing at the expense of Esau by deceiving Isaac with food. Similarly, we often use food to deceive and manipulate people for our interest. To illustrate, a few months back, the present external minister had a breakfast with the Dalit Booth residents in Varanasi. This was advertised to the people and made others believe that government is for the oppressed people and we are with the people. The planned dining ceremony executed by the politicians make the people believe them, and the deception as done in the Genesis 27. We have to be conscious of the trap the political leaders have plotted for us. Our taste buds are triggered to the advertisements which led us to the trap. The appetite for food leads us to fall into the trap of the corporate. We are deceived not only by the political leaders but also by the corporates who blindfolds us to create trust and leads to deception. Corporate trick us through misleading labels, false advertisements, hiding ingredients, food fraud, postal distortion, and manipulated food photography. Isaac's appetite for savory food made him to fall into the trap and face severe consequences. Esau is devastated by the deception, vowing to kill Jacob after his father's death, while Jacob's action caused family conflict and division. Same way, our appetite and the deception creates consequences in our relationship and also in our health. According to the report of IHME, our appetite for processed foods leads to a lifestyle diseases such as diabetes, stroke, heart disease, cancer, fatty liver, and goes on. We must be informed food choices and differentiate between hunger and appetite to control our health. We can manage our appetite and maintain a balanced diet by mindful of what we eat, paying attention to hunger cues, and being aware of emotional and environmental triggers. Let us take charge of our food choices and say no to deceptive practices that threatens our health. In Matthew 4:4, Jesus overcame the temptation of Satan through food. Same way, let us control our appetite and eat healthy foods, and let's not deceive people through food. Food is a blessing, not a weapon. Food is a blessing, not a weapon. Amen.